we learned that Moses' life in this chapter was coming to an end. So he just had to bury his sister who died, and a lot of his close friends were starting to die in his life. Yes. And so at this point, he already brought the message of the Lord to the people of Israel, and all those people were able to become believers of Jesus Christ. And during this time, he started to face another crisis. So Israel was starting to run out of food and water. And because of this, Moses and Aaron, they decided to bring this complaint to the Lord. And after that, Jesus told them to take his staff. Does everybody know what a staff is? It's usually in magic games or Lord of the Rings. Wizards cast magic or they hit people with staffs. So Jesus said, take my staff. And he said, if you grab the largest rock and tap the rock a couple of times, like that, then all the food and water, all the sufficient supply will come for the people of Israel. However, Moses did something that was completely unnecessary. While he was tapping the rock to give the people food and water, he told them this. He said, listen, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock? Yes, Appa. So, rebels. Rebels, what does rebels mean? It usually means people who disobey, people who disagree. So Moses was calling all the people of Israel rebels. And another important thing about what he said was, Moses said, we. So he said, we brought this for you. And when he said we, he meant not just God, but he made it sound like it was himself that was bringing the food and water to the people of Israel. So you see, he was starting to abuse his power. And because of this, the Lord was very unhappy. God's punishment was harsh. He said, Moses, because you did not trust me to show my holiness before the eyes of the Israelites, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land I have given them. So he was telling Moses that you will not go to the promised land. What is the promised land? Heaven. So he was telling Moses, you cannot go to heaven now because you disobeyed me. So everyone here, has there ever been a time in your life, something that you have regretted? What is a regret? It means something that you still think about till this day, something that you say, oh, I wish I did it differently. For example, you're like, oh, I really wish I got 100% on that math test. I wish I could go back into a time machine and change that. Maybe I should have studied harder. I asked some of my friends this morning, they may or may not be from this church, I asked them, what is the biggest regret you have in your life? And one person A, said, I wish I could have played more when I was younger. And then person B said, I wish I listened to my mom. I wish I drank more milk so I can be taller now. So me personally, my biggest regret is when I was about to go to college, and my mom told me, she said, James, you need to study harder. And I continued to disobey her. I didn't listen to her. I said, Mom, whatever. I'll do it later. And because of that, I don't think I took college very seriously. And I think if I studied harder, then I would probably have a better job today. Maybe I would be as rich as Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. Maybe, you never know, you know? Maybe I should have studied harder. So that is one of my regrets. So because Moses did not do what God told him to do, I think this means we really need to follow God's plan. So we should be listening to our parents because our parents know better than us most of the time. When your mom says, hey, it's cold outside, wear a jacket, you should probably listen to your mother. You shouldn't disobey what she says, right? And as leaders, has anyone ever been a leader of something? Maybe of a team? Have you ever been a leader of a classroom? Anybody? Have you ever been a leader of something, Peyton? You get a starburst if you volunteer. Peyton, have you ever been a leader? I know you play basketball.
I don't play basketball. That's Cameron.
Oh, Cameron, you play basketball. I know you like to rock climb. Have you ever been a leader of your rock climbing class?
Nope, I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest. How about Cameron? Have you ever been a leader of something?
remember if I've ever, but maybe? I'm not sure.
And so during the time when you were a leader, maybe there was somebody in your group who disagreed with something that you said. But as leaders, it's very important for us to keep that responsibility. In the words of Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So what does that mean? It means if you are a leader of a group of something, you need to be responsible for everybody in that group. Just because one person tells you, hey, I don't agree, or hey, we should do this differently, you should not get angry. You should instead keep that power you have, because if you make one wrong turn, then everybody in your group will follow you. So let's all make sure to follow God's plan, and also if we're a leader, let's make sure to keep that responsibility.